Hey guys, so we're doing another Playing with Makeup Forgotten Loves, and I, have just recently hauled two foundations that I really love, the Sisley one and the Tom Ford Cushion one. And I feel like whenever I haul two new products in the same category and I really love them, it makes me want to go back and kind of just play around with my older foundations and just see if they're still loves, see if like my taste has changed. I don't know if anyone else does that, but it's been a while since I've done like a Forgotten Loves, so I thought it was high time. And also the season is changing, and that's generally when my makeup routine starts to change up a little bit, like the primer I'm going to be using today. So the Chantecaille Ultra Sun Protection Sunscreen 45 SPF Primer. I do use this primer often, but I have been using the Armani Prima Glow On Moisturizing Balm Primer a lot. And now that it's relatively sunny in Vegas all the time, but it's like really, really sunny now. And like I can feel it in my car. So I think I'm gonna have to start using this primer again. So I'm just gonna shake it up. This primer is very liquidy. It has a pretty strong SPF scent. And you can see it just like runs down my hand there. So I'm just going to pat it on. I should wear SPF all the time, but this is definitely a primer that I reach for on the daily in the summertime. So this definitely has not been part of my regular routine in quite some time. All right, so there it is on the skin. It has like a great kind of like smoothing effect. It really like smooths out my skin. So not only is it a great sunblock, but it is also a really great primer. I mean, you can wear it alone. As you can see, there's no coverage or anything. It's not pore filling or anything like that. It's just really, really smoothing and blurring. And I really enjoy that about this primer. I do feel like I put on maybe a little bit too much. All right, so foundation. I feel like people are talking about this brand and this foundation a lot more these days. This brand was launched quite some time ago, and I'm talking about the Westman Atelier Vital Skin Foundation Stick. I have it in Atelier 1. I believe they have they're about to expand the foundation shade range, which is really awesome. I heard that they were going to be doing it fairly quickly and that it was going to happen like last fall. Well, it looks like finally they're able to do it. So I don't know when that is coming, and maybe I'll talk about it in a Will I Buy It, because I like this shade for me, but I feel like maybe the like undertone is a little bit off. Well, let's put it on together and we can talk about it then. But you guys may or may not know, but Natalie from Flower Bomb 31, she was here in Vegas visiting, and she actually made it over to Barney's in the Venetian. They're now carrying this. They weren't for a while, so I don't know when they just got this in. She said she was talking to the sales associate there, and they were telling her if you have like a drier skin type to use their Light Up Highlight Stick underneath and then put the foundation on top. So I actually did that once, maybe last week, and it did look really, really nice. So let's go ahead and apply this highlight stick. I'm just going to apply it where I would normally highlight. Can you guys see that? Do you see that little bit of iridescence? And right here, and a little bit here. This highlight stick has a very nice emollient feel. It doesn't feel tacky. It doesn't feel sticky. It doesn't feel thick. It just feels really nice. So I'm just kind of blending that in. It's not something that like sets down to like a powdery finish or anything like that. It just feels really nice on the skin. So I'm going to go ahead and just layer the foundation right on top. So again, I have it in the shade Atelier 1. And I'm big on just the 3 stripes on the cheek, the one on the forehead, the one down the middle, and the one on the chin. I'm going to go ahead and use a sponge. Generally, I use a brush, but I'm looking at my 2 foundation brushes right now, and they're really dirty. I could probably spot clean them, but I have a relatively clean sponge here. So I'm going to go in with this, and I'm just going to blend this out. So that is one light layer, as you can tell. I just worked out, so my face is definitely a little bit more red today than it normally is. So you can see like the redness on my cheeks, the redness around my nose, the discoloration around my eyes still. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to apply some of it directly onto the sponge. And I'll do the same thing with the brush. I'll just kind of graze it across the foundation stick. And then I'm gonna place it and press it in where I need a little bit more coverage. I always thought that this Atelier 1 shade was like a little bit off for me. I feel like maybe it's a little bit too yellow. I don't know. You guys let me know. The shade is actually okay, but it's like the undertone that I think is a little bit off. But Interestingly enough, I feel like putting this highlight stick down underneath helps. It really, really helps the tone for some reason. Even though there's like no real pigment in here, it just has that little bit of iridescence. I feel like it helps. I feel like it makes the tone a little bit brighter in this foundation, which is what I needed. I felt like it made my skin look a little bit sallow, and I've been waiting for her to come out with more shades to see if I could find like a better match. But I'm really loving how healthy my skin looks like with this combination. I think it looks really, really great. All right, for concealer, we're gonna use the Dior Skin Forever Undercover Concealer. So the shade that I got, which is number 20, is pretty much like my skin tone, and I like concealers that are a little bit more brightening. So I don't use that often, but it is great for like a no makeup kind of day if you just want something like very natural without that like super brightening effect. So I am planning on doing a more natural look today. We'll see what happens. But I'm gonna go ahead and apply this just right underneath my eyes and one swipe on the lids. And I'm gonna take my sponge and just press that in. I really like this concealer. I don't think people talk about this particular concealer very often, but I like it. It blends in really quickly. It doesn't emphasize my lines. It wears well throughout the day. I did a whole day wear test on this last July. I think I just talked about this in my mini reviews video. And it's a great concealer. If I didn't have 5,002 concealers in my drawer, I would probably run out and get the number 10 in this, one shade lighter. But this one, as you can see, is just a really nice like match for my skin tone. So it's really great. Again, like I said, for like a natural kind of makeup day. Okay, and now for setting powder. I just did that top 5 Tuesdays of my favorite setting powders, and they all happen to be loose. But before that, before I got into loose setting powders, I was really, really into pressed setting powders. And the Charlotte Tilbury one is one of my all-time favorites, and I haven't really used it lately. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this one. I'm in the shade One Fair, and I'm gonna use my Chikuhodo Artist 20-10 brush, and I'm just gonna press this into the skin. This is such a great powder. Such a great powder. It's so fine. It's such a like light veil of powder. It doesn't look powdery at all. So there is my face set down. So this terracotta light powder from Guerlain, I have not used in a while, and I really like this particular powder. I have it in the shade 01, which is light warm, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful bronzer. It has those spokes of like a very light pinky peach in there. It has a little bit of sheen. There's a little bit of that terracotta scent in there, and I love it. This is one of those foolproof bronzers because it is so light, but it does show up, but it's light. Like you don't have to be too careful with it. So I'm gonna go in with my Tom Ford bronzer brush and just brush some on. And this is one of those great bronzers. I feel like you can kind of like brush all over your face and you're not gonna look like too Oompa Loompa-ish. You're not gonna look too, I don't know, crazy, too overly bronzed. Because of those kind of like shimmery pink peach spokes, there's a little bit of like a blush tone in there. So if you're in kind of a rush, I think you can even forego blush. Like I got enough pinkiness going on there, peachiness. And just recently, I have totally fallen down the Chanel blush rabbit hole. I've been using the Golden Sun a lot, the new Tweed blush in Tweed Beige I've been using a lot, and then Natasha Denona came out with that Bloom blush palette. Is that what it's called? I've already forgotten. I love that one as well. But before all of that, I love this Hourglass Brilliant Nude blush. So we're gonna go ahead and use this today. And this is a very kind of soft powdery blush. So I'm going in with my Sonia G Cheek Pro brush and not something dense like my Tom Ford No. 6 brush. This picks up way too much product. So I'm gonna go in lightly, and you can see it picks up quite a bit. And I'll just brush that onto my cheeks. My God, look at that sheen. It's so pretty. All right. So there is Brilliant Nude applied. Oof. If you like sheen in your blush, these are great for that. Okay, since we're attempting a kind of natural look today, I'm gonna go in with, this definitely has a sheen to it. This is definitely a beautiful highlighter, but it is definitely on the more subtle side, at least for the stuff that I have in my collection. So I'm gonna go into this by Terry Compact Expert Dual Powder. I have it in the shade number 4, which is Beige Nude, and I like to use this center shade as a little bit of a highlight. But there's definitely some glow going on there. It's a very creamy glow, And it's quite lovely if you want something a little subdued. Wow, I really have not whipped out this powder in a long time. I always forget how beautiful the By Terry powders are. All right, so moving on to eyebrows. This is definitely a forgotten love. I haven't used a Brow Wiz in such a long time. And actually the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, they always have Brow Wiz there on sale. And so everyone's been doing their Ulta 21 Days of Beauty videos and mentioning the Brow Wiz. And I'm like, I have a Brow Wiz. I should use this pencil a little bit more because it's lovely. So I have it in the shade Ebony, and I'm just going to go ahead and use some light strokes to mimic hairs. I am not that great at this. That's probably why I love my Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel, because you just like sweep that on. All right, that was interesting. So I had a maintenance come by because we weren't getting hot water in our showers, and I thought it was just going to be like a simple part change. It is not. They are actually draining our hot water tank right now, and I don't know, they have to do something, and I took the opportunity to eat some lunch. So it's been a while since I put on my eyebrows. I think that was the last thing I was doing, and I was using the Anastasia Brow Wiz in Ebony. So let's go ahead and move on to eyeshadow. So in my last mini reviews video, I pulled out the Melt Dark Matter stack and had never used it. So I thought, let's go ahead and use it. I really like Melt Cosmetics matte shadows that come in these stacks. I also like the palettes. I like all their eyeshadows, actually. I think they're all really good. Some better than others, but I think they're all very good. So let's go ahead and start with this top shade, which is Blur with 2 R's. I'm gonna use my Sonia G Blender Pro brush. I'm gonna go into this shade and put this is kind of my skin tone. I thought it was going to be a little bit darker. Let me put this all over my lid then. So nice. I love these melt shadows. All right, now that I have like a decent layer of that all over my lids, I can see that the shade is a little bit deeper than my skin tone, but it's really nice. It's such a nice neutral tone. Next, I'm going to move to the shade underneath, which is called Unseen. Just a little bit deeper. I'm going to use the same Blender Pro brush and then just add this to my outer V here and bring it into my crease, socket, whatever you want to call this area on me. This area, the above the eyeball area. All right, I actually like just those 2 shadows. I think it looks nice. I've added a little bit of dimension. It doesn't look too crazy. It looks like natural kind of look that I'm going for. Let me just see what other colors in here. I have this very deep reddish brown color in Enigma, and then we have Dark Matter, which is like a black. So I think I'm gonna stop there. I like this kind of like natural look that I've got going on. I think what I'll do is go into the highlighter that I use, this By Terry, this center powder. I'm gonna go in with like a fluffy blending brush. This is the Esom G34, and I'm gonna brush this kind of on the inner portion of my lid just to add a little bit more dimension. This is very subtle, but it gives like a little something there. Ooh, that's nice. I like that. And next I'm going to grab an eyeliner that I don't think I've used since I did a full face of Kogen Do, and this is the Kogen Do eyeliner pencil, and I have it in 01 brown. It's one of those types that rolls up and rolls down. And I remember really liking the texture of this. And it's such a thin pencil. I actually thought when I first got this, I thought it was an eyebrow pencil, but it's actually an eyeliner pencil. And it's one of the finer tipped ones that I've used. All right, I'm just gonna curl my eyelashes and I'll be right back. So I was using this a lot, and then for some reason, I think I just got lazy, but this is the Chanel mascara base, and I really, really love it. My lashes are just annoying. They're just short, they're coarse, they don't curl, and then on top of it all, they don't actually grow out like straight from my eyes. They're all like crisscrossed. So it makes applying mascara sometimes very challenging. And this helped a lot because it kind of helped them lay a little bit straighter without all the crisscrossing. So I'm gonna put some of this on. And then I'm going to use my Le Volume de Chanel waterproof mascara in brown. This, I wouldn't say this is a forgotten love, but I feel like I haven't used this in a bit. So we're going to use this today. All right, mascara is on, and now for lips, I'm going to use the Pat McGrath Supernatural Lip Liner. This is not forgotten. I use this all the time. And I'm going to be pairing it with this lipstick that I really, really like, but I don't know that I love. And that is the Clé de Peau, I think it's just called lipstick, the Clé de Peau lipstick in One Bamboo. I really like the color. Before I keep rambling, let me just go ahead and apply it, and then I'll tell you how I feel about it. So I think what is interesting about this lipstick, the formula, I'm not sure what the ingredients are. It goes on really easily. It feels very, very slick. It's pigmented and it doesn't feel drying on my lips, but it feels like it's just sitting on top of my lips. It doesn't feel like it's getting absorbed. It doesn't feel nourishing at all. It just feels like it's slick. So maybe there's just a lot of silicones in here, but it really just feels like it's sitting on top of my lips. And it's not horrible. Like I said, I really, really like this lipstick, but it's just not one of my favorites because it just doesn't have that feeling like the Tom Ford lipsticks. They just, I don't know, they feel like good for your lips. Like you put them on and they feel amazing. The Sicily lipsticks, the La Bouche Rouge lipsticks. I mean, there's so many lipsticks that I love. The Chantecaille lipsticks, like all of them, you put them on, they slide right on. They're pigmented, but they also like feel really, really great. This doesn't like feel like anything. It's so strange. It really feels like it's just like this layer on top of my lips. So I don't know. I know plenty of people love this lipstick. And if you guys have tried this lipstick and you like the other ones that I just mentioned, let me know if you feel like you feel a difference as well. Because that's like the best way I can describe it, which is not that great at all. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this Playing with Makeup Forgotten Loves. I hope I've inspired you to go back into your collection and just play around with some things that you know you love, but you just haven't used in a while. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I'll see you in my next video.